Greetings. I'm Pearl John from Logos Management, and let me extend a warm welcome to the other 167. I'm delighted that you could join me today as we continue the series Dare to be a Daniel in the Corporate Den and draw those life-transforming lessons from the life of Daniel. Last week we spoke on the theme breaking the code of progress, and we said 1, your step of faith is met by God's hand of faithfulness. 2, internal alignment is a prerequisite for external advancement. And 3, excellence breeds excellence. This week we move on to the 6th part of the series, and we focus on the theme gaining power when you are powerless. Gaining power when you are powerless. I'd like us to examine 3 key elements. 1, higher the bar, greater the power. Higher the bar, greater the power. And we find that in chapter 2 and verses 9 and 46. Daniel was confounded with a rather difficult situation. The task at hand was akin to being asked to state the questions in the teacher's question paper and answering those questions. The situation was bordering on the ridiculous. But that is essentially what was required of Daniel. The bar was set rather high, that humanly speaking, it was impossible to reach that bar. But Daniel was up to the challenge. You know why? He was willing to take the challenge squarely, as he had experienced the divine touch early on, where he proved that he was 10 times better than those who had the king's delicacies. Thus, he did not see the impossibility of the task, but the possibility of the God who was with him to get through the task. As a consultant to the United Nations, I was required to assess potential UN resident coordinators, the Secretary General of UN's representatives in various countries of the world. The incumbents were very senior diplomats and deputy representatives of the UN, civil servants from across the world, including IAS officers from India. It was a high-stakes assessment process where the entire assessment was videotaped so that the assessment could be challenged if there was a need. I was rather intimidated. But you know what? The word of the Lord came powerfully and said, "He that is in you is greater than he that is in the world." Equipped with that word, I regained my confidence, and I was part of the entire assessment process for several years. Do you have a work situation that seems impossible? The bar that you are to encounter seems rather high and formidable? Take heart. When you meet the high bar, the rewards are absolutely fulfilling. Daniel revealed the dream and the interpretation to the astonishment of King Nebuchadnezzar. In verse 46, we see the king's response. Then King Nebuchadnezzar fell on his face prostrate before Daniel and commanded that they should present an offering and incense to him. That is the power of living to the high bar. When encountered by a rather high bar, don't forget the rewards that come once you meet or surpass the bar. Secondly, finding certainty in the uncertainty. We find that in chapter 2 and verse 16. The enormity of the situation is stark. The king had ordered the execution of all wise men, and with their lives at stake, all the wise men perhaps were in hiding to escape the wrath of the king. The tension in the air was perhaps palpable. Uncertainty of the future was at its highest. The possibility of losing one's job, losing one's life was very high. In the midst of that uncertainty, Daniel was different. In verse 16, we find Daniel went in and asked the king to give him time that he might tell the king the interpretation. And verse 18, he found his friends and devised a strategy to overcome the uncertainty. There are 3 distinct lessons that we learn from here. 1, Daniel did not allow the uncertainty to dislocate him. Instead, he was willing to confront the uncertainty in the environment. 2, Daniel had a set of close confidence that he could trust to devise an effective way forward to overcome the uncertainties. And 3, he exercised enormous faith and took a great risk, and that paid him rich dividends. When encountered by uncertainties, are you willing to confront the uncertainties in the environment? Do you have a set of close friends that you can tap into? And do you exercise faith like Daniel in the face of uncertainties? May the Lord grant us grace from above to be able to do this. Thirdly, the secret of the secret place of strength. The secret of the secret place of strength. And chapter 2, verse 18 and 19. Having bought time from the king, Daniel did not lose time, but rushed to the secret place from where he derived his strength. That is the secret of Daniel. He did not consider the perception of the world as a wise man to cloud his vision. He was fully aware of where he drew his strength from. Remember, that was not the last port of the call, but his first port of call. Do you have a secret place where you seek the face of the Almighty God? Do you access the secret place when you are in need of answers? Or do you strive to find answers on your own? Never underestimate the power of the secret place, for there lies the true power to unlock the most difficult problems and find answers to the most challenging of questions. This is Pearl John signing off the Other 167. Thanks for watching the Other 167. Continue to share with your friends and colleagues and encourage them to watch these. Next week, we will take a departure from the series of Daniel and consider the message of Christmas. Have a great weekend and week ahead. God bless you.